It's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, joined by my wonderful wife, Heather. We have our 2022 over there, Tundra. In this video, we hit the 10,000 mile mark, and I brought her along because she's been driving this truck, well, more than I have last couple months.
Since August,
So I thought...
6 months?
Let's get her opinion, too. What's your math? 6 months? No.
No.
Just a couple. All right, so let's talk about this. So if you follow the channel at all, you know I bought this last year, and actually the plate's coming up because I know that because I bought it last December, and we put basically have 11,000 now.
Yeah.
So in this video, I'll tell you a couple things. So we'll walk around the truck, show you what happened over the 10,000 miles. We'll give you our thoughts on whether we buy it again or not buy it again, and how we like it or don't like it. And then also, I'll interrupt this video here in a little while, and I'll do the Blackstone Labs report on the oil change. Always found it kind of interesting. People seem like they like that, so we'll talk about that oil change report as well back at the house. But let's start with this. Let's start the exterior and take a look at what we have. So if you recall, we did the leveling kit on the front, so it sits a little bit higher, and then we have that blueprint looking color as the Ford was blueprint. I don't think this is blueprint. I don't remember what the color is.
I don't remember either.
No.
But I do like the color.
Yeah.
The blue is a nice dark, and it turns a lot of heads, I'll tell you that. I know I'm not getting the looks as I'm parked at a light and people are driving by.
right.
It's not me, it's the truck.
So, and then, this is a TRD off-road package. It's a limited, so we have this front end. I still have not gotten used to the front end yet. I still don't know that I like it or hate it.
I like it, but I've always been more of a manly truck kind of person.
Okay, all right. She gets the manly truck feel from that. One thing that bugged me in the truck is...
Yeah, that's kind of irritating.
So it's a piece of weather stripping that goes around the radiator. I've been underneath the truck. I put it back in. Just needs some more glue, really. That's what's going to happen there. Come on the sides. We do have these steps that we got from Rough Country. And I think that we've both come to the same agreement that they just don't work for us. I mean, I could see them working well for like an off-roader person, but
for sure.
It creates too many obstacles trying to get in. And this foot placement's not big enough. So really, we would prefer the full length of this vehicle. And that's one thing I got to say about this truck is that my one regret is I wish I would have bought the higher trim level. In that it came with automatic running boards that worked when they open the doors. Plus, it came with automatic step back here. So, as you know, I had to add this manual step to be getting the bed because
it's a pretty nice little
it's a nice step
addition.
Right, because when this bed goes down, they cap this, and you can't get in.
No way to get in.
No.
Unless you're really good at climbing.
Yeah, unless you're really good at climbing a tire thing and trying to get in there. I mean, it's just kind of those things. So, speaking of, I'm going to talk about a few things as far as problems that we've experienced 10,000 miles. So we've seen this come apart.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot with Toyota Tundras right now. I've noticed a lot of them online doing that. We have the issue here, which I find fascinating, is this does not match up on the weather stripping here. And what's fascinating about that is I've asked Toyota several times about that, and they just don't have an answer for me if they're going to fix that or not. But on the press loans I get from the manufacturer, I get these press loans for a week. The press loan Tundras, they don't have that problem. It matches up. I don't know what's going on with that. It just kind of frustrates me. And then we've had the dreaded seat issue that everybody else has had.
And it doesn't help that because of my height and I wear dresses a lot, I kind of slide down it.
Right, but we're gonna get that replaced. There's a clip in the front that's broken off, that's fell down. Look at that. I mean, that's completely broken, and it's 10,000 miles. And honestly, it's a little bit of us getting in and out because of the way the step's set up. But it's also just some cheap plastic. I mean, I've been to other trucks and other truck brands and stuff like that. They don't have this cheap plastic here. And because it doesn't connect to the front over here, because they save the money, nickel or whatever they spend on that, it just doesn't work. It'd almost be better if we just pull this off and not have to worry about that plastic at all. But those have been the main issues. I can't think of anything else. As far as main issues with the truck, we'll talk about the infotainment screen a little bit because I know
that's been a little bit of a learning curve.
That's a weird system.
And that's putting it mildly and nicely.
Yeah, so let's talk about wear and tear. Besides the seat, here's our seats. Still look brand new. This is that soft text material. Holds up pretty well. You can see this is all still looking pretty good. This looks pretty good there. We have nothing wrong with dash there. This all looks pretty good. There's no issues there.
Nope.
What about the back? How's the back holding up? Because we have kids.
It's good.
And kids like to destroy things, but yeah. So, no issues there. This just needs to be a little clean. And no issues there. And then we have the world's best snow brush, by the way, at Walmart. You need to buy that one. Or Amazon. We have a link on our website as well. On Amazon, you can buy a brush like that. So these are all held up pretty well. No issues there as far as how the truck holding up. Even though the boys looks pretty good. So, all right, let's go ahead and hop in, and then we'll talk more about this truck. Okay, let's talk about this Blackstone Labs report on the oil change I got at 10,000 miles. So oil changes are due over 10,000 miles on Toyota vehicles. Before I get to that, I want to mention two other things. We just got back talking about a few things on the way back. Number one, we've had like 4 recalls in a truck, which wife doesn't love because she has to take it in dealership. She loses a half day. And the second thing is that remote start is starting to end now. So if you remember, there's a subscription service that they were talking about extending. They've done some stuff with some of the other services they have like a subscription to. But remote start is still a 1-year subscription, which means as of December 9th, she won't have remote start anymore, which is frustrating for her because unless we pay another month, and I plan to keep this truck maybe another month, I'm not gonna pay monthly. I'm not gonna pay yearly. I don't know. It's one of those frustrating things. And you cannot get it separately. You cannot go buy a Tundra right now with remote start as a standalone option. I've seen some people online do some aftermarket stuff to also make sure remote start works. Plus, when you open a door, it doesn't turn the vehicle off, which is another frustrating thing about remote start is that she'll get out, have a remote started. She goes hop in, put herself in the back, and the vehicle turns off. So then she has to get in the vehicle, turn it on, and then she's got to wait for a while for the defrosters to heat up, so that way it clears off the windshield for her. So yeah, not awesome. Let's get to this report. I think I'm going to do it just like this. So this is the Blackstone Laboratories. What you do is you send in the oil sample, a little jug, send it in, they give you an oil report on your vehicle. So what they said was this is a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. They got that figured out. And it says, Tim, this looks like this might have been the first oil change for your Tundra, and if so, that's the main reason metals are high in this report. And this comes typically on new vehicles. They're coming from the wear and new parts. Silicone is from the sealers and lubes used during assembly process. And a few more oil changes, these elements should come down around the levels that are universal averages shown to be typical for this engine type. These averages are based on 4,200 miles of oil use. There's no contamination from oil or coolant, and the TBDM is starting to get a bit low. Check back at a known interval to learn more. So what they're saying is they want to, if I were to keep this truck and do more oil changes, they'll have more information for me. But you can see where aluminum, you can see where iron, universal averages. So that starts to be high. Copper is really high. And then molybdenum is pretty high. And that's just more lubricants and metals they use when they're building the engine. And this, like I said, is very typical. And silicone, the glue, and in process when they build these vehicles in the engine. And so that's where those numbers are pretty high. But overall, there wasn't any big issue and nothing that was kind of, concerning about the oil report. Let's go ahead and head back to the truck and talk more about this 2022 Toyota Tundra. Okay, let's talk about this truck inside where it's nice and warm and deal with the cold out there. But before we get going very far, can you check the fuel economy? I know you've been doing a lot of in-town driving, which is really, bad for fuel economy. I looked at it the other day and it was really poor. But I thought it'd be interesting to bring it up. So, does that minute? Probably, yeah.
Average is 15.6.
15.6. But keep in mind, in that number's defense, we have done a lot of city driving and we've done a lot of idling in the wintertime because we have to, scrape windows, stuff like that. So fuel economy in the winter has not been very good. No. I was hoping for a little bit more, but that's what it is at the moment. Now, this is not the hybrid version. I'd be curious to see what the hybrid version does a little bit better because you run that battery a little bit more in the winter. I wanted to ask about the infotainment system. So I've done lots of videos on this, and it's been controversial, really.
Yeah. So what I'm finding is it doesn't recognize me as a person all the time. Like, it doesn't recognize me as the user all the time, unless I'm the primary user. Once I went in and kicked him off the primary user and connected my cell phone to the specific key fob, it's a lot better at locating me, or at least recognizing, hey, Heather's in the car. Something's changed, though, within the past week. Before this past week, it would automatically pull up the last radio station or music setting I was listening to, whether it was XM or whether it was a local or whether it was a book. And now it's automatically resetting to like Sirius XM1. So it's constantly just resetting itself. And I'm not quite sure. And that's just within this past week. I don't know if it's something that has happened because we may have a trial basis running out.
No, I mean, XM should be paid for. I've noticed they still updates. They haven't always told me the updates, but they've done some over-the-air updates. For example, I went and deleted myself. So let me explain this a little differently. This system is set up in a way where it wants you to have a driver profile. The driver profile is matched to your key fob and to your cell phone.
Yes.
So it comes in, and it sets driver profile for like your seats, your infotainment screen, whether you have Apple CarPlay pulled up, that kind of stuff. And it was very frustrating because if that system ever stopped working, you'd have a guest mode come up, and you have to put in a pin for guest mode, and
have to enter a pin.
Yada, 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 yada. So I just went in and finally just deleted myself.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't figure out how to make her the primary driver, so I just deleted myself off of there. And honestly, I didn't put my driver profile back on because I don't want to. There's no real benefit to me having that driver profile on, and now they made the change where the guest mode screen doesn't pop up.
Yeah.
So I just get in and drive. Fantastic. Yeah. That's all I ever wanted was just to get in and drive. So they've made those changes to that system. I still don't like it doesn't have a home button. I don't like it doesn't have the app. So like, I'll show you. I'll grab my phone because I can show you what that looks like on my phone. And we'll do 2 filming at once, but...
What do you mean by home button? What am I missing?
So it does... So like, go back to Apple Car... or Android Auto.
No, Apple CarPlay.
The CarPlay. So, and I'm sorry the screen's flickering on my phone. It's just a matter of how these screens refresh rate. But see all these icons you have? And I love icons. And this seems like you can go... There's more... You just kind of go back and forth. To me, that's a good home button. On the Toyota screen itself... I have no icons. I have no, I just got to click where I'm going to go. And I just don't, I wish it looked like more of a cell phone.
Yeah.
That's my biggest complaint is that it just looks so different. And it's so different than any other system out there. Different than Chevy, than Ford, than Ram, than everybody. That it just looks funky. And I don't know why the design team decided to make it look so different. Like they want to be cutting edge and stuff, that's fine, but it's so different, it's so alien to me, I just have never gotten used to it. And I mean, I drove it all the way through August, and I've driven here and there, when I don't have a press loan or take it on weekends, whatever, but yeah, I just have never gotten used to it.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a question about this wireless charger down here, because that has been a topic of conversation on many people discussing it online and such, because this is a wireless charger, but there's no real... It doesn't sticky. It's not sticky.
No, there's no magnet on it. Like, it's not a...
Yeah, and...
It's not a full...
I noticed you took your case covering off the back of it.
Yeah, because if I leave the case on, it will charge it for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and then the light will flash, and I'll get a little notification saying QI charging ended.
Right.
And then it'll remind me, hey, make sure that there's good contact. So... Trial and error. I've just
taken the
case off. The other thing I'm noticing, and this is Apple CarPlay, not necessarily the charger, but sometimes it cuts out. There's not a consistent sound. So if I'm on the phone using hands-free, not plugged in with a USB cord, if I'm just using Apple CarPlay and the infotainment system, sometimes the person I am talking with, they're gone. And then they come back like 10 seconds later, and then it shorts out almost. And so I'm not sure if that's the Bluetooth connectivity, if it's... I have to do some experimentation, because it may just be when I'm getting a text message or an email and it's like cutting out the discussion.
I'm going to say this. I think engineering-wise, we've had no problems with the engine, no problem with transmission, no problem. I mean, accelerates fine. She's never come back and said, hey, the truck's too slow, whatever.
No.
She's probably had problems keeping the speed limit.
Well, I discovered if you decide to get a Tundra and you get the app, there is a little button on there, and you may not want to tell your significant other about this button. But there's a button that talks about your driving behavior. And when I saw that was a possibility, or I could at least look at it, I just kind of said, uh-oh. Because it does tell you, hey, on this day you took a turn a little sharp.
Oh,
harsh cornering.
Harsh cornering.
Fast acceleration. Harsh
Naughty.
braking.
Naughty.
But today is excellent. So,
Yeah, that's
and then
'cause
it
I'm in the
breaks
car.
down. You're in the truck. Yesterday, 2 harsh cornerings, 1 harsh fast acceleration.
No wonder you got 15 mile per gallon.
Sorry. That's just how I drive, and it's Mazda's fault because that's how my red car
Yeah, she had a
was.
little Mazda for this. So,
Yeah, that's pretty handy though.
yeah, I think, I think we have some criticism to say about truck, and we've kind of made some criticisms about it. But, the seat's really comfortable. I still like the armrest on the side of the doors. Visibility is still pretty good. I do like the features as far as, we have a locker in here. We have off-road, four-wheel drive, different drive modes. I mean, she just couldn't snow, and it was just put in 4 high and just go. I mean, there's definitely some nice things about this vehicle. My only, like I said, my regret is that I wish I would have bought a higher trim level. I wish the hybrid would have came out first, not last, and I'd been able to get the hybrid last year and not just get the gas version. Because I think in this case, I didn't buy the right trim level, because I think the exterior would look a lot different, because the different trim levels have different styling on the front grille. I think it would have been more attractive to me in different trim levels. I think I would have liked more features about it. I think I would have more things to say. So I think in this case, that's my biggest regret, is that I think the trim level was a big miss for me. Mm-hmm. This is why the next truck I'm buying is a Chevy Silverado High Country with the diesel in it, and that's why I'm buying the full trim level. Not only that, just to get a little bit different styling and stuff like that, but also to have more features to talk about. That's one of the things as a journalist, when I bought this truck, I didn't realize I didn't think about it. It didn't have the adaptive suspension, didn't have air suspension, didn't have that kind of stuff. And it really limited how many things I could talk about this truck. And that really wasn't fair for Toyota, because I ended up finding more things I didn't like about it than I would have maybe if I had bought a different trim level, and I would have bought, different features and things. So a little bit on me, a little bit on them. Personally, I think both of them goes, because the seat is an issue. I think design really screwed this up. I think they really could have done better job with the front tow hooks. They could have done a better job of styling.
Yeah.
With the rear bumper, I mean...
But I don't think you should have to get a higher trim level in order to get a better quality seat.
Yeah.
That should be standard. You should not have a seat that breaks at 11,000 miles.
And that thing's been breaking for a while. So, it's less than $11,000 miles. But
And I appreciate Toyota.
We used to have a Tundra.
Another Toyota.
Yeah, we're looking at a RAV4 for her next. I mean, so it's not like we're anti-Toyota.
No.
I'm just surprised. I mean, I really wanted to like this. I really wanted to love this. I think that's the story I tell people. Is I really want to love it, but I can't. There's not enough here to make me love it. It's a hard truck to like.
Especially since we had a Tundra that we really loved.
Yeah, we had a Tundra we really liked. And, there's the older, it was his,
oh, gosh, like...
2013?
Yeah.
I think it's 2013 model year.
13 or 14.
So, I mean, we're not like anti-Toyota people at all. And I'm not, I'm buying a different brand. I bought a Ford, I bought a Tundra, I'll buy a Chevy, I'll buy a Ram eventually. I'm going through different brands. And as you watch the channel, I review a lot of vehicles too. I'm just surprised. I really thought I would love this thing a lot more than I did. And I don't. And so currently the plan is to buy Heather a new vehicle, and I'm going to take this and get the repairs done it needs and sell it and then move on.
Yeah.
But the question would be, would I buy it again?
If they made some improvements,
yeah,
then I'd say yeah. And if we went for the full step.
Yeah, if we had the full step, if they made some changes to some of the features of it, I think we'd definitely be more happy about it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it catches, like I said earlier, it turns a lot of heads. A lot of people like this truck.
Yeah. So, well, there's our thoughts on this 2022 Toyota Tundra Limited. Put your comments down below. Curious your thoughts, whether we're being fair, not fair, whatever. I'm sure you'll let us know. Check out the videos over here, website down below. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you down the road.